Meeting. Today is Monday, August 24th, 26. The time is 6:01 p.m. Ms. Durst, would you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Hovis. Here. Councilman Brock. Yep. Mayor Pro Tem Brooke. Here. Councilman McKenrick.
Here.
Mayor Griffin.
Thank you, ma'am. Forgive me one step, Ms. Durst, and we'll go back to the call to order. We do have a public hearing. For public hearing to receive comment. 2026.009 to annex 5.93 acres of the west side of Blythewood Road. That is for zoning, light zoning of LI2 limited industrial. One second. We'll open public comment at 6:03. We do not have anyone signed up for public comment. No, this is for public hearing for the ordinance annexation. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close public hearing at 6:04. Thank you, Ms. Durst, for calling the roll. Ms. Durst, was this meeting posted according to state law? Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And excuse me, I have mic issues. Before we get to the approval of the agenda, I would like to ask council for a friendly amendment. As we all been updated by our town manager, we no longer need the executive session item. I'll be looking to strike that item unless council feels necessary to keep that there. Any further amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll be looking for a motion to approve the agenda as recommended with removing the executive session.
So moved.
Looking for a second. Second, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Did you call the entire roll? I believe you stopped with me. Did he?
I did Councilman Cribb, Councilman McKenrick, yes.
Oh, you did? Okay, I must have zoned out. I apologize. Thank you.
All righty. At this time, I'll ask Councilwoman Hovis to conduct the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, as we gather this evening, we ask for your guidance in the work before us. Grant us the patience to listen before we speak. Give us tolerance when other views are not the same as ours, and wisdom to remember that disagreement does not always have to result in division. Help us treat one another with respect, to assume good intentions, and to remain focused on the responsibility that has been entrusted to us. Remind us that we're not here for ourselves, but we're here to serve the citizens of our community, and may the decisions that we make tonight be thoughtful, fair, and guided by what is best for the people we represent. Bless our citizens, our staff, our first responders, and those who work to make each day in our community a better place to call home. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hovis. Next on the agenda is council member remarks. I'll start from my right. Any remarks? Hearing none, I'll go to my left. Any remarks?
Mr. Mayor, I have
Mayor Pro Tem.
remarks. I'd actually, if I could have a moment, I'd like to read a statement regarding Scout Motors and community concerns. The town of Blythewood is aware of concerns raised by residents regarding development activities associated with the Scout Motor site, including concerns that are now the subject of pending litigation. The town recognizes the significance of the Scout Motors investment to Blythewood, Richland County, and the state of South Carolina, and the substantial economic opportunities associated with the project. At the same time, we recognize and respect the concerns of residents who believe their properties or quality of life have been affected. Those concerns deserve to be heard and appropriately addressed. The town's regulatory role in these matters is limited. The town has certain building permitting responsibilities, but environmental permitting and oversight of the project fall primarily under other governmental agencies, including the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services. Likewise, claims involving alleged property damage and responsibility for that damage are matters for the party and, when necessary, the courts. The town is not a party to the pending litigation, and we believe it is important to respect that process rather than attempt to determine the merits of disputed claims. The town remains committed to the well-being of the greater Blythewood community, responsible growth, environmental stewardship, and continued economic success. We hope the concerns of the affected property owners are addressed promptly and fairly, that applicable environmental requirements are appropriately enforced, and that Scout Motors can continue its significant investment while maintaining a constructive relationship with its neighbors. We respect the rights and interests of everyone involved and hope for a fair and timely resolution. And I also would like to add that in the audience, we have Jamie Lovegrove, who is the head of public affairs for Scout Motors, in the event that anyone may have any questions for him. And that is my statement. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the time.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Fruit.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Brock.
I'd like to make a motion that the council adopt this statement as the official position of the town of Blythewood.
Without rejection. So move adopted.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. The clerk has that copy as well. You have a pre-copy. We'll get you one. Ms. Fripp, if you don't mind the copy you read, just pass it to her at the end. Thank you. Sir, pass that down.
I'm sorry, Sharon, she gave you one. I'm sorry.
And sir, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here to answer questions from concerned residents. We hope that you'll stay through this meeting and answer some of those questions for individuals that may be present this evening. So thank you. Next, we'll move to mayor's remarks. I'll call a point of privilege to our executive director from the Greater Blythewood Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Deb Stapleton. Someone asked earlier about the cookies up here. So you're going to get you a cookie, ma'am, or you leave.
Thank you, Mayor. I love to bake for everyone, and you know, it's really hard when you're representing the town, and a lot of issues are brought upon you, and a lot of choices have to be made. And a lot of choices are tough choices, but I just want you to know how much we appreciate everybody in this room, our community, our leaders. We just appreciate you all. And our goal is for everyone to get along and to make a positive impact through our words and our actions. So I just want to thank everybody in this room and for all of you for your leadership, because I know it's not easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And to members of council, don't touch the cookies until a certain lady in the audience get a cookie first. All right, next on the agenda, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from the town council regular meeting, July 27th, 2026.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Kendrick.
I believe, Ms. Durst, we may have an issue of just copy and paste, but I don't believe Ms. Hovis voted no on all her items. I just noticed this evening. Councilwoman Hovis, I believe you can clarify with Ms. Durst which ones you were a no on, but it shows on here there were like 5 or 6. I don't think that's correct. And we show it as a motion passing 5-0. So I just think it's a typo. Other than that, I believe the minutes are correct, and I would make a motion to approve.
All right. It's been noted for some corrections, and we'll ask Councilwoman Hovis to work with our clerk to correct. Would that be correct? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve with those corrections.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. This portion, we move into public comment. This portion of the meeting is designated for public comments as provided for by municipal ordinance. Public comments must be limited to the items on the agenda. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address council. All comments will be entered into the official record, and no action will be taken during this hearing. And as always, I've been saying since day one, address any item you may feel the need, and we will make sure the appropriate staff gets to that as soon as possible. First person I will call up is Miss Cindy Merritt. We'll ask you to click the mic.
It's on it. Is it on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, good afternoon, council. and
Ms. Mayor, before you get started, which item on the agenda are you speaking on?
I'm speaking back to what she just read.
That's not an item on the agenda, ma'am.
I understand that, but I've been shut down all the way. I believe that statement was made because of my email and the remark of it being denied. Y'all misread my email of what I was asking. I was not asking for y'all to do anything. What I asked was for y'all to have a session like right now so that we could get together and get Scout, Richland County, and all the state representatives here. When's the last time any of them's been here at this podium?
Ms. Mayor, I will reiterate my question one more time. Which item on the agenda are you speaking on?
None of them that's on the agenda right now.
Councilman Brock, as I have always done to the general public, let the public speak.
Unfortunately, Mr. Mayor, the agenda that you approved clearly states public comments must be limited to items on this agenda.
Okay, well, while you
Yes,
say
sir.
that, I'd like for everybody to see what Councilman Brock says.
Give me 1 second, Ms. Mary.
Now, I would actually refer to the parliamentarian, and am I correct in saying that items on the agenda are the only items that can be addressed during public comment?
That is what the agenda states, but it's not what our ordinance states. The ordinance states that the public may speak on
Touche.
any, I don't have it in front of me, but I think on any matter. Something that is up for consideration tonight, I'm not sure the ordinance number, but is an ordinance to clarify and to amend our ordinance to state that only items on the agenda can be spoken about by members of the public.
All right.
So currently tonight there is a discrepancy between the public comment item on the agenda and the ordinance, I would just say that the ordinance would trump what's
Then-
on the agenda.
Then let's clean that up. Then I will make a motion to amend the agenda and strike
Now?
yes, now. I'll make it, I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda and strike the second sentence of paragraph, section 3, public comment. Strike the sentence that says public comments must be limited to items on the agenda.
Second.
Mr. Peter, is that proper? And I'm asking, we'll move to discussion. Since there's a second, I'm asking because
Is what proper?
the move to change, to strike out a line in the public comment section. And here's the thing, we're making a big deal out of something that has always happened. Citizens come up, citizens voice their opinion. You can address it, it goes to staff level, you move on, you live another day. Citizens get to speak their piece, we represent the citizens. I have always done that since day one, sitting here. Regardless if people are speaking out against me or for me, it doesn't really matter.
Is this open for discussion right now?
I'm asking the,
Oh, excuse me.
I mean, I think there's a couple ways of looking at this. We can amend the agenda to allow the speakers to the extent they're speaking on items that aren't on the agenda. Or I think, Mr. Mayor, in your capacity as the presiding officer of the meeting, can allow the speakers to speak.
and that's what I have always done. It's simpler to do that than cut off the community from speaking freely.
Those would, as the parliamentarian, those would be my, I guess, two options that I can think of how to proceed on this matter right now.
So then there's no need for a motion, a vote.
I don't think there would be.
So,
Well, there is a motion and a second on the floor,
There
and I
is.
will
There
withdraw
is.
my motion.
thank you, sir.
And I'd like to make a comment in that we can't have selective enforcement. He has always let people get up and talk about whatever that is not on the agenda until it's an ordinance. I don't know how we can actually say to somebody, you can't speak because it's not on the agenda, because perhaps we're not wanting to hear from a certain person, but selective enforcement is not something that should be condoned by our council.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Merritt, please proceed.
Okay. I'm just going to start over with what I already had, and this isn't like reference to what Councilman Fripp said. Okay. All right, I'm here tonight because with the community, but that's not got me upset now. I'm sorry. My email to the town manager and council was misunderstood. Evidently, I didn't send it right. I did not ask for y'all to make a portion on the agenda for the community to come in here and talk about Scout, to talk about Richland County. That's not what was on that email. Nothing about that was on the email. I asked specifically if we could talk about getting them back in here to discuss the issues that are going on. It wasn't that we wanted to come in here and discuss and put down Scout Motors or put down Richland County. We wanted them to come back here and come before us. We live with this. We don't live in the city of Columbia. We don't live in Chester. We don't live in Michigan. We live right here in Blythewood where they dropped that bomb on us. I sat there yesterday morning deliberately drinking my coffee outside with my dogs. That's when my dog got missing. 35 dump trucks going one way in 30 minutes. That's just one way. And they were coming the other way. I mean, it's like this all day long. And if I'm not mistaken, when they come here and was talking and it's in the contract, they're not supposed to bring dirt from outside back onto that property, nor are they supposed to be bringing gravel from outside back onto that property. We sat here and we told them what that property was like, March 23rd, I believe it was, at the meeting. That land is the wetlands. You're going to have a hard time filling it in. But They argued with Charlie Bain. He kept telling them that's where his well water's coming from. He's had it for years. Y'all gonna do that, it's gonna mess up everything. That's what it's done. It's messing up the aquifers because that's the Congaree watershed. Then you got the ponds that's been filled in. You got Beasley Creek that's still putting out junk. I have people messaging me, and I've got them if y'all want to see them. I don't have no problem with that. Calls that they're leaving messages. I can't even run my washing machine because the water coming through there is clogging it up because it's so dirty. You know, and then I've got ones specifically calling me that they're scared to come here because of Councilman Brock and how he talks to people on Facebook. So with that being said, and they literally left me that message. So with that being said, he literally told me that since I am not a town of Blythewood resident, that I need to get into the town limits because where I am right now, my voice rings hollow to all of you council members. It means nothing. But how many other members in town do you see trying to take up this town and trying to make it better and speak up like I do? Very seldom. And I try to make sure everything's right. I just don't take one side. Y'all think I do, but I don't. I follow up behind everybody.
30 seconds, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
No, you.
But if we, and just to reiterate what my email said, can we possibly get all of them in here and have a town meeting again? The last time Scout was here was 18 months ago. They don't come around here. They don't come in this building. Richland County was here in February. All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate you.
Up next is Miss Bobby Young.
I'm Bobby Young. I'm sure most of you know me.
Is there a topic, just for reference, is there a topic that you're
The
speaking on?
topic is soil contamination,
Thank you.
and I'm glad that Jamie's here from Scout. So it just so happened I was coming down Blythewood Road the other night, and I was at the light where trucks pull into Scout, and I looked over. This is a God thing. I looked over, and there was a truck there that said first call. I was like, that's weird. I wonder what that's all about. So I went home and I looked it up, and it is a remediation company that's called out when there's a spill, a chemical spill, an oil spill, and so on and so forth. First call out of Casey. They're all over the country, but first call out of Casey is the one that was there the other night. And I talked with my husband about it today, and he said he also saw that same truck a couple days earlier. So since I live right near there, and since we're counting on our aquifers and our water table to give us good well water, Jamie, we're concerned about what might be happening over there. And so I feel like somewhere in the interim, we've lost all contact with Richland County and Scout because we're people that care. We actually care. We give a damn. So I've spoken to a couple council people already about this. Now I'm talking to the rest of you. And I just wish that everybody would care as much as we do, because think about what's happening out on the West Coast, where the rivers are drying up and there's a water shortage. Picture that, only it's under the ground. It's called an aquifer. For those who don't know what that is, you can look it up. Thank you so much, Jamie, for coming here tonight, and I'll pick your brain and talk to you about this afterwards. But let's all care about our town. It's not just about the millions of dollars that we have in the bank because of building permits. It's about the people that elected all of you one by one by one, and we can unelect you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Young. That is all I have. Who have signed up for public comment? Ms. Durst will close public comment at 6:25. Thank you. Next item, boards and committee updates. First is Doco Meadows Park Foundation, Councilwoman Hovis. Any updates?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any updates, but I do know that there is some reorganization, restructuring of the foundation that's underway by the town manager. So he might have a comment to add to mine tonight, but other than that, I don't have an update.
Thank you. You do?
Sure. I've been speaking with Paul Mascotti and Michaela Barno from the foundation on a way to strengthen the official relationship between the town and the foundation. And so the town will be putting together a memorandum of understanding so that we can create effectively a contract between the town and the foundation going forward. I've also made some recommendations for some bylaw changes to the foundation that they've been receptive to. And those bylaw changes would allow, basically would help the memorandum of understanding mesh with what their current bylaws are. And so I'm hoping to come back to y'all in the next couple of months to, with that MOU. We'll definitely, run it by the foundation, run it by Pete, and just make sure that we have something that everyone can be happy with, that allows them to raise money on our behalf, to make sure that money is being raised for items that the town wants to see built here at the park, and that then we would be obligated to use that money to build those items that have been decided between the foundation and the town and its plan for the park. So you should be seeing that in September or October.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Next is Central Midlands Council of Government. Myself. You all should have seen the many different public sessions going on around the region. I think Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman McKendrick attended one, my understanding. Participate in those so that we can get your input on the 2050 long range plan. That is very important. As we continue to grow, we need to make sure that we understand the capacity of the highways and byways. And that's very important. We have some great data coming out sometime in October. The COG will be back in here to show you the renderings and the layout of the proposed straightening project of Blythewood Road, Lanford Road, to show you those corridor pieces in Highway 21 down to Reimer Pond Road as well. So look out in the newspaper, look out on social media, the town social media for that, and provide that input so that we as leaders up here can delegate where we need to delegate efficiently. That'll end mine unless questions for me. Thank you. Item C, Richland County Transportation Penny Tax Advisory Committee, Councilman McKendrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No significant changes to the report. Construction is moving forward.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of council? Thank you. Next, we'll move to Town Manager's Report. Mr. Polo.
Sure. So the finance report this month for revenues for July and for year to date, we have $622,701.41. And our expenses for the month and for year to date are $536,008.75. And then for the town manager's report, I have it written out because it's it's a bit much. I kind of want to go over the town hall situation. So in addition to the written staff reports you've been receiving over the past month, I wanted to give you a brief update on a few facility issues. Regarding Town Hall, we've received the results of the environmental assessment last week. The good news is that the airborne mold levels inside Town Hall are very low, particularly compared with outdoor air. Basically, it's like 1% of the outdoor air levels, so it's safe. The assessment did identify moisture-related mold growth in the rear office and adjoining wall area, which is the area we have isolated. Podium restoration will be removing the affected sheetrock and remediating that area. While that work is underway, we're also going to inspect the remaining sheetrock walls throughout Town Hall. If we find any additional contaminated material, it will be removed, replaced, and properly remediated. More importantly, we're addressing the underlying moisture conditions rather than simply repairing the affected walls. We're going to encapsulate the crawl space and install a dehumidifier to control humidity beneath the building and help prevent this from reoccurring. The cost of the crawl space work is $10,000 approximately. We've got our 3 quotes, and I've discussed this with Jennifer, our finance director, so we're going to fund that through the existing capital projects appropriation. The cost of the mold remediation and related interior repairs is still being determined. Because of this unforeseen expense, I anticipate bringing council a request next month to fund the remediation costs from contingency once we know the final amount, and that expenditure will require council action. We've also been addressing humidity issues here at Doco Manor. Cool Care has completed some air conditioning repairs and inspected the large dehumidification system. They identified an issue with that unit and have already completed part of that repair. And we expect to have a quote tomorrow for a 2-horsepower fan motor, which we believe should address the remaining dehumidification issue in this building. So overall, we're making good progress at both facilities. We're addressing both the affected materials and the underlying conditions, and we've identified the problems here at Doco as well. So pretty much great news. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions, members of council for our town manager? Mayor Pro Tem Fruit.
Does the staff move back into town hall? I know everyone didn't move back.
That's correct. So Jordan's office is in what I would call the main area around the restrooms and the copier. And so she has moved out. She's in the Public Works office.
Okay.
There's really no way for her to be in her office without being where the exhaust fan is drying out the mayor's office.
Mm-hmm.
And so just in the interest of safety, she's moved over there. But both Pulliam and the air restoration people have said that there's no issues with air quality in there. We've closed off all the doors for the remaining area. So the rest of staff is in town hall for now. But we do anticipate that during remediation, we may all have to leave. So we've already started making plans for that.
All right, thank you. Any further questions? That concludes. All right, thank you, sir.
That concludes.
Moving to old business, item A, second and final reading of ordinance 2026.009 to annex properties west south Community Road. Mr. Doug, any updates on that's changes from the
No.
last reading?
No changes from last reading.
Any questions from council?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve 2026.009 as presented.
Thank you. Motion made in second. In discussion, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes. Any nays? Ayes have it. Item B, second and final reading, ordinance 2026.010 to remove building permit fees from the code of ordinance and to adopt the ICC building evaluation data as standard for permitting. Any changes?
I do have an amendment that I have asked Councilman McKendrick to read for us. Other than that, we have no changes. But basically, because the fee schedule has not changed in the last couple of months, but we do have a new FOIA resolution tonight. I wanted the fee schedule in the FOIA to match the FOIA resolution that is coming before you next.
Thank you, Councilman McKendrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I would make a motion that we approve 2026.010 with the following amendment. The change to the actual cost to search, retrieve, or redact records shall be based on the actual cost of the search, retrieval, and redaction of the public records at the prorated hourly salary of the lowest paid employee who is in the reasonable discretion of the custodian of the records, has the necessary skills and training to perform the request. I would also like to remove the line describing CDs and DVDs and their associated prices.
Yes, sir. Understand. Just
What does this have to do with second and final reading of 2026.10010?
It's part of the fee structure that is associated with the
For
FOIA
building
request.
permits? We're on building permits. We're on item B.
we,
But it's
it's the same.
part, yes,
It's a-
yes, sir. It's part of the
It's
overall
part of the
fee
building
structure.
permit fee?
Yeah, because the building permit fees were in the zoning ordinance. They have been removed and
Oh,
then put
okay.
into the master fee schedule.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Proceed.
Master.
All right, that's confusing, but okay.
all right, you
That
good,
was
sir?
in the form
Okay,
of a
thank
motion,
you.
yes, sir.
All right, be looking for a motion to approve as recommended.
So moved.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Motion made and second. Any
Second.
discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Moving to item C, second and final reading of ordinance 2026.011 to repeal chapter 35 of the Code of Ordinance and adopt a new Chapter 35, Purchasing and Procurement. Any changes, sir?
There is one change. If you look at the staff report on page 2, at the end of our discussion last month, Councilman Brock asked a question about when council votes on purchases. And so I made a small adjustment to the staff report in the ordinance saying that council approval is only required in the following situations: when a budget amendment is required, when procurements are not specifically authorized in the adopted budget, when acquisition or disposition of real property is involved, or in procurements requiring council approval by law or ordinance. And so I edited section 35.04G to read, council approval of procurements shall be required as provided in section 3513. Procurement requirements established by this chapter apply regardless of whether separate council approval is required. So basically, this clarifies Councilman Brock's question. It doesn't change anything materially.
Gotcha. Any discussion, members of council? Hearing none, I'll be looking for a motion to approve as recommended.
So moved.
Motion made.
Second.
Second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. Moving to item D, resolution 2026.003 to adopt and reverse the Freedom of Information Act policy, revise. Any changes?
Yes, so there are major changes from last time. So what I did following last month's reading for this resolution was I went back to the state model ordinance created by the Municipal Association in South Carolina, and that's what their attorneys, created. And so I took that state model ordinance, basically took out everywhere where it says town, put in the word Blythewood, and I did add one sentence to it, and this is a sentence that our town attorney had put in his version, basically saying that the town may communicate with the requester to clarify, narrow, or prioritize a request in order to facilitate a timely and efficient response. So other than that one sentence, this is the state model ordinance.
So, any questions, council? Councilwoman Hovis?
In the state model, does it say TBD, to be determined per hour, the charge for the actual cost to search, retrieve, and redact?
Honestly, I don't know if it says TBD. It is the lowest
Correct.
hourly rate. And so that is just the placeholder we put in there along with the asterisk that says the lowest hourly rate of the qualified employee.
Right, I see that. And I did look at Columbia, Town of Irmo, and Mount Pleasant, and none of them have TBD in their language. They have a specific $25 an hour, 30 minutes, however much it was for the first 30 minutes. It's much more specific, and I understand that the asterisk represents that it's based on the actual cost of search and retrieval, but TBD, in my opinion, can be tidied up a little bit. I think it's too subjective. It's not transparent. To me, it doesn't mimic the other FOIAs that I've seen that provide the cost. That'd be my only concern for the revisions, and that also that our form that a requester uses mimics this new policy. So we would have to remove a statement that says, nor would I use this information for commercial purposes. In other words, and I will not break the law. We can't enforce the law. We're not an executive branch. So that would want to come out, and we would just want to insert there that the person that requests acknowledges that, yes, there is a law against commercial solicitation with that information. So those are my two concerns about FOIA as it stands right now.
Okay. I mean, the acknowledgement, we can definitely change that. I agree that their current we haven't changed the application online until such time as the resolution gets passed. But yeah, I think the current application says you can't, whereas an acknowledgement would be simply, I understand that I'm not supposed to. And as for the pricing, we have a pricing list at Town Hall every year. Hopefully town employees' pay rates may change. And frankly, who is able to do the search may change depending on the search. And that's why it says TBD. But I mean, whether that's in there or not, the asterisk, I think, explains, the lowest paid person.
Right, I was just curious, how often would a town manager get involved in
actually being the one that's responsible for retrieving the data? Wouldn't it typically be the person who serves an administrative role, not a management role?
I think that would probably only happen if it was, like, if I was pulling my own emails.
Okay,
But there are definitely cases, like, in general, it would be the town clerk, so it would be, Ms. Durst. However, if it's a planning issue, it may be, Kirk Wilson. If it's, probably those are the only two people who would ever actually do it, but that's how it's done.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hovis, is there any suggestions that you want to make amendment before we call the vote?
No, just put on the record what TPC would equate to, which would be generally the town.
Understand. Any
Mr.
fur-
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2026.008 as presented.
Thank you, sir. Motion, second, discussion, none.
Mr. Mayor,
Discussion, council.
just a
Mayor
quick
Pro Tem.
second. Does that address her concerns with the I acknowledge versus you cannot use this for commercial purposes? Does that acknowledge?
We will change the application.
Okay, then I'm good.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
good.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Ayes have it. Moving to new business, item A, first reading of ordinance 2026.012 to amend chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinance relating to the town's agendas, introductions of legislation, and public comment.
Okay, so
Mr.
this is coming from last month's meeting. At the conclusion of last month's meeting, Councilman Brock staff to look into an ordinance like this, and so here it is in front of you right now. Ironically, while I was at the State Municipal Association annual meeting along with Councilwoman Hovis, we were at a session with the MASC General Counsel, and someone asked the question, how many people should be able to put an item on the agenda, depending on of government. In a strong mayor situation, it's definitely the mayor, or if there's an administrator in council, it tends to be a council member or the administrator. In this case, with council manager, the recommendation from the state was one less than a quorum. So in this case, with the town of Blythewood, 5 members, it would be 2 members. I know the mayor reached out to me last week, asked me to do a little bit of research on some other nearby towns, and so we have that in page 2 of the report, what nearby towns are doing. Some of them, it just says, the official code says the manager does it. That's what Casey says. In Columbia, it's actually kind of convoluted. Any member can request, but then any other member can veto. So basically, it requires a majority if it really came to it, if I'm reading the law correctly for Columbia. Irmo, I know that they've always done kind of a friendly 2 people say, I back it. So anyway, that's where we're at with this. And so that's the ordinance that I wrote, that it would require 2 members, or basically someone has to put forth, I would like this item to be on maybe on next month's agenda, or if one of you just emails me and says, hey, I'd like to, do this, as long as somebody else supports that, it would come to town council. And so that's the way this ordinance has been written. While I was working on this ordinance, I noticed that there's basically 2 sections that needed to be changed. And in between those 2 sections happened to be the section on appearance of citizens. And that's why I sent an email out to y'all last week just saying, while we're here, our agendas have historically said you may only speak on agenda items. Our code currently says that a member of the public may speak on any item of town business. And so I said, well, while we're here, this is probably something that we should determine how we want agendas to go and how we want public comment to go. And so overall, this ordinance covers 2 things. It would make it so that it would require 2 members to put an item on the agenda, a legislative item on the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Any comments?
So is this the discussion period?
Yes,
for this
ma'am.
Just based on my research, and of course I could be wrong, but there's currently legislation pending in the General Assembly that would prohibit requiring more than one person to put, a council member to put something on the agenda. So I'm not sure that we want to adopt a restriction that the General Assembly is currently considering expressly forbidding. There must be a reason for that. So I didn't know if that was something that somebody else came across when they were researching this item.
Any research, sir?
I have not heard that. I can say if the state were to prohibit that practice, we would simply have to stop doing that. But I know that there are items that I've been tracking through the state for over a decade that have never made it very far.
Sure.
And so it's hard to say, you know, what happens. So if council wishes it to be two people that put something on the agenda, I don't think there's any prohibition against that. And if there was, we'll stop doing it.
And if we did pass that such that you could not solely put something on the agenda, there are other avenues that that council member could pursue. Is that correct? So
Oh,
it's not like a
absolutely.
total shut the door in your face kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if the idea is to have the discussion and see where it goes, I think that anyone can, you know, I'd be hard pressed to imagine that no one would support you.
Okay.
So.
Any further discussion before we call a vote?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve ordinance 2026.012 as presented by the town manager.
Second.
Motion made and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just a point of clarification. So, Pete, because of our action tonight, even though our ordinance said one thing, but our agenda said another, based on this action tonight, the presiding officer in a meeting would not be allowed to say, because I've always done it, I'm going to continue to do it, come up to the podium and speak. Otherwise, why do we just do what we did? I'm speaking to our attorney.
Yeah, great question. It may take a little research on that. And I say it may take some more research. The presiding officer does, I believe, inherent power and authority to be able to run the meeting and allow speakers. But obviously, if this ordinance is passed on second reading, this would be the default. And I think others would have the option of moving for a point of order, or that something is out of order as a remedy if the presiding officer, whoever that may be, you know, if the meeting went off the rails and everybody in the world was allowed to speak or something like that. So, I mean, I think there are remedies, but yeah, this would be the default. And so.
Yeah, my point of clarification is not to shut somebody down.
Sure.
As much as it is, why do we do what we do up here if it simply doesn't matter? If somebody can go and do whatever the hell they please, what we do up here doesn't matter. I'm not sure that I follow you on that. If we go through with second reading and now we have an ordinance is, my position is I'm going to start arguing for ordinances to matter.
Sure.
Because we sit here and we pass ordinances, which in this town are laws. But then we pick and choose what ordinance we want to follow, when and how. So I'm not trying to be combative to anybody. If you don't agree with the ordinance, vote against it. Not make an ordinance. And then, I mean, we make the ordinance and we go, we're going to just keep doing what we want to do. Whether it's somebody speaking on something they're passionate about, or whether there's an ordinance of how we determine age tax. We just decide we don't want to follow that, and we don't. So, I mean, what is the avenue to adhere to ordinances?
Point well taken.
Not adhering
I mean,
to.
I see where you're coming from. Again, if the presiding officer is not following the ordinance, I mean, I think a point of order could be raised, or I'm not I think there are other avenues in the ordinance that, or Robert's rules, that council can override what is being done by the presiding officer. I'll do some more research on that prior to second reading and hopefully have some information for you on that.
Yep.
But I understand I understand your point.
I mean, we were there at the beginning of
Sure.
this meeting.
Right.
One thing, and we do another thing, and what are we going to do? What
Right.
we do the other thing?
Pete, if this ordinance passes, could a member of council not make a motion to suspend the rule? And if it passes with a 2/3 majority, that would overrule, and for that particular meeting or on that particular item, it would allow them to move forward. Would that not hold true?
That would be an option as well, yes.
There's your answer, Councilman McKendrick.
Yeah.
So somebody would move to suspend the rules. Otherwise, discussion would simply be limited on items of the agenda. Upon pass-
I appreciate that attempted clarification, Brock. It's not what we did tonight. No one made a motion to suspend the rules.
Well, Councilman McKendrick, what I think the town attorney is saying is that the ordinance and the agenda are in conflict, and this cleans them up and puts them in sync. Is that not a fair statement?
But it does.
It does. I
doesn't
mean, I
to
don't,
me.
at this point, I don't know that we need to even say it. If this gets, I don't know that we need, it'll be there in, so I'm not sure if I'm answering.
So Pete, can you do the research?
Absolutely.
And bring it back, because we can
Absolutely.
debate this all night long,
Yep.
because they have their feelings, I have my feelings and concerns about it as far as restricting people's freedom of speech. I watch a lot of meetings, and I see where other cities and towns, counties get in trouble from a public standpoint. Let the public speak. It's simple. I have always done that. This hadn't just started tonight. We can rewind the tape,
I
go
thought we were
back.
talking about the agenda. Are we talking about two different things here? Because we have an
It's
ordinance.
part of it, yes, ma'am.
Okay, because to me, the ordinance right now says that you can speak on a topic that's relative, not necessarily on the agenda. If
Nope.
it's not that way, then
No.
I need
No.
to be
It doesn't
corrected
say
and
that.
take back what I said, because if our ordinance, I thought our ordinance, we were voting on it tonight, that says, going forward, you can only speak to items on the agenda. If that's the way
Correct.
it is now, then I retract my comment and say, no,
I know.
we would adhere
So-
to the
so
ordinance.
Let me
not-
call order to this real quick so we can continue this movement of the agenda. I believe our attorney heard both sides of this, so I believe you can bring something back to us, update us before the next meeting. Members of council got any other concerns, we'll definitely reach out to our manager and town attorney. Cool. Can we move forward?
Have we voted on this item already?
It passed.
Yes, we
by
passed.
vote.
McKendrick had a point of clarification. All right, we'll move on to item B. First reading of ordinance 2026.013 to establish a temporary moratorium on certain applications requiring review before the Board of Architectural Review. Mr. Poland.
Okay, so in the time that there are some issues, works with the Board of Architectural Review and what requirements are in that. I know I've spoken with many members of council who also have concerns about the Board of Architectural Review, the powers they have, and basically how it works, how it's supposed to work. And so in order to effectively fix the plane, and while the plane's not moving, it'd be nice to ground it for a little while. And this is a pretty common way to do that. As long as it is narrow in scope, it's limited in duration, and we know what we're trying to get on the other side of this. And so what we're requesting is 9 months. 9 months is a very long time. I do not think it will take nearly that long, but I do know that in order to make some changes, we will want to go back to the Board of Architectural Review to make sure they're happy with those changes. Planning Commission didn't come to council twice. And so that alone is about 4 months of the process. And so it's just assuming it takes a few months on our end to write something and maybe go back and forth with some boards. It will take a little bit of time. But just a couple of major things we know right off the bat is that right now you can turn your application in 15 days prior to the meeting. Board of Architecture review should be a public hearing. It must be publicly noticed. It must be therefore applied for 30 days in advance so we can get it in the newspaper and have a sign out early enough. 15 days is when it needs to be in the paper, not in our hands. There's also some questions on like exterior materials. How much can the BAR actually require of somebody as opposed to request? And so we just want to tighten that up and make sure that it's the right ordinance going forward so we can ensure the beautification of the town. So that's why this is coming to y'all. Just so you know, currently we do have one application in. Anyone who is in prior to this, we would definitely grandfather and let them go through. But at a, once this becomes an issue, so once the moratorium goes into place, we would no longer be accepting applications for a little while for the major items of new construction, major additions. But for the smaller things, we would still let them go to the bar. We don't want to hold up like a sign. We just want to make sure that we can hold up on those major items that need some looking at.
Thank you, sir. Discussion from members of council.
So Doug, while you're reviewing it, you said 9 months is a long time. Will you, let's say in 6 months, will you look to see where you are at that time? And that way we won't.
Yeah, if there's any reason to think that we weren't going to make it in time, obviously it has to come to y'all twice
Sure.
in order to become law. And so I would expect that it will be back in front of you in 6 months at the latest.
Okay.
But, maybe it's, but I'll definitely keep you apprised as part of my town manager's report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? I do have one asking of you. Can we make sure we do a real jam up job at informing the public on exactly what this means?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'll be entertaining a motion to approve.
Motion to approve ordinance 2026.013 is presented by the town manager.
Thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. Item C, resolution 2026-8 to adopt a travel and business expense policy.
Sure, this came out of a couple of things. I was working on a new employee manual that was supposed to be with y'all tonight, but the employment attorney that works with MASC was not able to finish his review, so we pushed it off till next month. But as part of that, I realized that this was such a large policy. It was greater and it needed to be separate. And when I was going back in July, I remember looking up just, okay, how does reimbursement work? What's a meal, gas? It's not in the employee policy. So I thought, well, maybe it should probably write this travel and reimbursement policy. So this is what you have in front of you. Trying to be as clear as day with everything that we do. That to me, clarity is more important sometimes than other things. I just want people to know exactly what you're getting. And so we have per diems for meals in the amounts of $15, $25, and $35 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, depending on how long you're there at the meeting, when you leave, when you come back. Mileage is based on the federal rate. And lastly, your per diem can be higher if for some reason you're sent to someplace far away that's quite expensive. And if you go to a conference in Philadelphia, you might need more money. But on the other hand, if you're just going to a conference in Florence, you're fine with what we have right here. And so we just tried to cover everything in terms of, how we cover, Uber bills and all of those sorts of things, just to, be, clear with everyone. So that's what you have in front of you.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Thank you. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution 2026.008.
So moved.
Motion made. Looking for a second. Second, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. At this time, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, before I make a motion to adjourn, I would like to thank Doug. 4 times, I may have missed one, 4 or 5 times tonight, you made the statement as you were going through current ordinances, and that's why things were before us tonight. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your attention to detail, and it's the very beginning of cleaning up things that have kind of went away for a long time. So I appreciate you and staff.
In answer to your previous question, why do you write laws? So that the town can enforce them.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Motion to adjourn, sir.
Thank you, sir. Looking for a second. I'll second. Discussions. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Whoa, uh-oh.